So thanks for joining this uh, workshop. Um, I want to talk to you about how to write really compelling product or service stories that sells. And before I do that, I just want to welcome you all. I know that people are here from different time zones as well. So here for me, it's 10 a.m. in Sydney, Australia. Sarah, I know that you're dialing in from the US. What time is it for you?
I'm on the Pacific Coast, so it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, there you go. Well, thanks for joining us for the afternoon. Um, Atlas and Naish, you're in different time zones as well.
I'm in Melbourne, same as
Oh, you're
you.
in Melbourne. Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. All right, same time zone. Great. And
I'm in Alaska, so I'm an hour behind Sarah. It's 2 p.m. for me.
awesome, great. Well, good morning and good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for, um, choosing to be here when you could be doing a lot of other things, and you all have big, busy lives. So I promise you that this will be a really valuable session for you. So, oopsie, before we get into it, I'll just introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. So, I'm a strategist and storyteller. I've worked across 50 industries in 10 countries, growing brands, working with Fortune 500s, SMEs, startups, you name it. And what I really love about helping and working with those brands is really hearing the gold in what they talk about when it comes to their business or their technology and going, wow, this is amazing. This is going to change something. This is going to disrupt something. And then being able to help them articulate that. Because what I found working with businesses is a lot of time it's like, and we all have this, we have the curse of knowledge. And what that means is that we know too much. We know too much about our industry. We know too much about our product and our brand. And we struggle to then work out what's the most important thing to communicate. Like everything just seems important. I just got to say it all. It's almost like we're in the jar, but we can't read the label. So what I do is I help businesses read the label of their jar and determine what's the most compelling, relevant thing to communicate. And we call that their brand story. So that's what I do. Um, so let's jump into it. And before we do that as well, let me ask you a question and you can just wave your hands or type in the chat. Feel free to use the chat as a way of communicating with each other. Just make sure that you're sending the message to meeting group chat and not any of the AI note takers because no one will respond there. um, so who here has ever bought something without even realizing that you needed that thing? Or you could just wave your hands. Be proud. Come on. Who's just clicked that shop now button? You don't even know if you need it. So I think we all have, right? We're all guilty of that. And for me, this usually happens between the hours of midnight and like 2 a.m. I'm like lying in bed and I'm doom scrolling. And then I see this, right? This is a toiletry bag. I see an ad for this. Now, I'm not even thinking about a toiletry bag. Like I think every woman or girl kind of has one of those in a way, right? Has some kind of toiletry bag. It's not something we're actively thinking about. So there I am. I see this toiletry bag ad. I'm like, okay, whatever. I click into it. And I'm just looking at it. And something stops me in my tracks, right? The product description, I look at it and it goes, doesn't it annoy you when you travel and you bring your toiletry bag and you're trying to find things and you have those toiletry bags that make you lie everything down and these plastic windows that rip and get grimy and these cardboard walls that you can't even wash them and things spill and you can't even fit real size bottles in there. You only have to like find travel size things, which you don't have travel size things. So it doesn't fit everything. You have to have those other Ziploc plastic bags and you can't, they're not all in one place. And why do they always look so dirty? Like this was like, I was reading this and I'm going at, midnight, I'm going, oh my goodness, that's me, that's me, that's me. I need this, I need this. So I don't just buy one. I buy two. I buy one for me and one for my sister. And I'm raving to her. I'm like, you need this bag. This is the answer to all of our, grievances. And I didn't even have a trip coming up. I wasn't planning to travel anywhere, right? So I'm sharing this because that's what's really cool about having a product or service story that sells. It literally has people saying, oh, this is me. This is me. I need this. And today, that's what I'm going to take you through. I'm going to take you through a 3-step framework to make people say, I need this when it comes to your service and your product. So I just want to get a sense in this room because I know there's a mixture. So could you please type in the chat who here has got a product and who here has got a service? Jess says, I already want one. Jess, it's awesome. You have to get it. Service for Atlas, got it. Service for Rafia, for Ange, service for Jess, Sarah, service, Zara, service as well. All right, cool. All right, so mostly service. Okay, that's good to know. Great. So I'll give you product examples, but also there'll be a service example so you can get a sense of both. So I want to tell you as well about how we're going to participate today. So the session today will be hands-on. I'll ask you questions. It's interactive. So just unmute yourself, participate, join in the conversation. Thanks, George, for service for you as well. And you'll need something to write with. You can have just a screen up on your laptop as well to type in, just because we're working through something and you'll be writing basically. And also, I've got a special gift for people who stay till the end. So whoever those people are, you will get a special gift from me, which I think you'll actually like because I would have liked this kind of gift myself. All right. So first, let us deal with the biggest marketing myth. And I don't know if you've heard this before. I think most of you would have come across this. But the biggest marketing myth is, I have a great product, I have a great service, I just need to get the word out to more people. I just need to get the word out. Now, it's only half true. Because yes, I'm sure you do have a great product and service. And I do agree that you need to get the word out to more people. That's the premise of marketing. But what really matters is what you say too. And not enough is said about that. Right? If you get the word out there, but it's not the thing, it's not the word, it's not the right message, then it's just noise. So I'm going to touch a bit more on this, but I just want us to reflect on that as we go through this exercise. All right. And I also want to show you a bit of an example of two water bottle brands. Now, I love using water bottles as examples because I just don't think I look at how many water bottle brands there are, and I think surely we don't need one more water bottle brand in the market. But you know what? Someone always manages to launch one. And for example, Owala has come and just really taken the whole water bottle industry by storm. I've got one of these, So it really comes to how they're communicating, how they're marketing themselves. That's what gets them the space in people's minds. So let's compare these two brands and how they talk about one particular feature. So here's Owala. It stays cold. Don't you just hate it when the water in your bottle is warm by the time you go to drink it, especially if it's been sitting in your hot car? Wouldn't you rather have icy cold water while you're sweating through a workout and when you're heading home from the gym? Say hello to the free sip bottles, triple layer, vacuum insulated stainless steel. That's just a fancy way of saying your water will stay nice and cold for up to 24 hours. You know, those bottles that you fill with ice only to find the ice is still there doing its job the next day? Yep, that's us. So now I want you to contrast this to the other brand. So Hydro Flask, they say, we're the best water bottle. We're stainless steel, insulated, refillable, reusable, and our 20-ounce wide mouth water bottle is the flask to grab to keep cold drinks cold and hot ones hot. The large opening makes it easy to add eyes and get yourself a bigger gulp. And then there's a list of all the features. So I just want to hear if you're willing to, one or two people, just tell me like, what is the difference for you? What's the difference in when you heard both of those things? What stood out to you? Just unmute yourself. Yeah. Oh, hey, Raf.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, I wasn't sure if you want me to put my hand up.
No, thanks for doing
virtually.
that.
Well, firstly, thank you for today. And what's really jumping out at me is someone that's techie or technical is doing the explanation at the bottom, whereas someone who really knows people and knows storytelling is doing the top one.
Yeah, great.
I think the top one is more emotional. It like targets emotions, whereas the bottom one is stating facts. No one cares if it's the best, but why is it the best? You know, if they're targeting that emotional aspect on the top one to make you relate to why you would want that bottle.
Yeah.
The features and the specifications are great, but it's not going to sell a product. But that one-to-one relation will.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Ash and Raf. Yeah, great. Really great points. And one thing that really I want you to notice, because that's going to be the key as we go through the steps, is Owala, doesn't it capture a moment? Like, could you picture it? Don't we all have, like, haven't we all had that moment where like, oh man, my water's gone warm. After a workout, I just want some cold water. Like, you can picture it. You can almost picture the water bottle in the hot car. Whereas with Hydro Flask, like as Ange said, best water bottle, like that's just really empty. It's an empty statement because how is that backed up by what? And maybe, like, I'm sure all the features are really great, but it just doesn't invite us in, right? We're not drawn to it. We're not like, I'm connecting with this. So that's how great products really connect, or great service, when you write it, really connects. It brings you into a moment. It makes you picture like, oh yeah, I've been there. I get that. So that's what we're going to do. So the first step in crafting a product or service story that sells is capturing that moment. It's a specific moment that your target audience is faced with the problem that your product or service solves. Now, they may not know that that's a problem. They may not even know of your solution, but there definitely is a moment where they're dealing with that thing that you're like, this is really frustrating. Like, let us help you solve that. So we want to really identify that specific moment. The moment should include the actual moment, like, I'm here, this is what's happening. And it should also include the emotion. Isn't it frustrating? Don't you hate it? Isn't it annoying? Like, words like this that are conveying emotion, we should capture that because that's what the audience is feeling. So here's an example. So example, it's 11 p.m. and you're refreshing your ad dashboard, watching your budget drain away with almost no clicks or conversions. You feel that sinking frustration. Another campaign wasted, another night wondering if marketing will ever work for you. So again, that specificity that it's 11 p.m., that you're just on your computer at 11 p.m. Like, there's something about that. There's something about that moment that we can relate to. Maybe we're not refreshing our ad dashboard, but we can relate to that moment where, as a business owner, you're at 11 p.m. like stressing about my business, what's going to happen to it. So it's a moment in time that is relatable to people. So this is an example. So now I want you to give it a go. And for the service that pick one service, let's just work on one. Doesn't have any like logic or science to which one. If you've got multiple ones, just pick one. If you got just one service, great, we're working on that. So pick one of the services that you offer. And I want you to write a scene. And I'm saying a scene because the scene paints a picture. So I want you to write a scene that puts the customer or your target audience inside of their struggle, capturing the moment and the emotion. Some guidance for you is be as specific as possible. When, where, what are they doing, and then paint a picture, have a see what's happening. And again, another guidance is, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they doing? So give that a go. No one will have to see it. I mean, if you want to share with us, feel free, but this is yours. So no one's going to be judging your writing. Just let yourself go. Hey, Robin, thanks for joining. We're just getting started. Hey, we're just getting started with our first exercise, Robin. So depending on if you have a product or service, we're just writing a scene that puts your target audience inside of their struggle. What's the moment that they're struggling with that problem that your service solves? And if you're stuck or you have questions, please let me know, because it really is helpful for others as well when we talk things out.
Does it necessarily have to be focusing on the struggle? Can you potentially focus on sort of like the reaching the goal as well, as in solving the problem for them?
Yeah, there is a part that we actually get to that. So I think in this point, it's helpful to think of the struggle, because most people are driven by pain more than they are driven by a goal. But that's a great question, George.
I've got a question.
Yes.
So I haven't launched anything yet. I'm in the ideation phase of getting my services down pat. So just for this exercise, just pick what I'm thinking of doing. That's what you're suggesting. Yep.
I would
Okay.
say.
Thanks.
Yeah, great question if you're in that like launch stage as well. Yes, Jess, you've got a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could put your example back up again.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Good reminder. Thank you. There it is. And just a little something as well, in case if you're struggling to define that moment. A lot of moments are people like lying in bed reflecting. If you're not sure, like, what is the moment? Like, uh, there's moments where people are just like reflecting on the day, or they're thinking about something. So that is a moment, people lying in bed and thinking about something. All right, and if you've done yours, you don't have to, but I find it really enriches the conversation when we hear what other people are doing. It just really opens something up for others as well. So if you are willing to, I'd love to hear 1 or 2 examples. Whoever has finished yours. Yeah, Jess, let's hear it.
So I did just pop it in the chat. So it says, Thursday morning, Sydney. You lean back in your chair, rubbing your temples. The latest marketing report is on your screen. Disappointing numbers again. The video felt flat, no engagement, no impact. A LinkedIn notification pops up. A competitor's sleek, story-driven video is racking up praise. Why does theirs work while yours fades into the noise? Exhaling, you stare out the window. The pressure is real. Expectations from leadership, demands from sales, and your own reputation on the line. No time to rethink strategy. No time to find the right creative partner. No time to get this wrong again.
Wow. That's awesome. Really cool. I felt that. Like I got goosebumps. I'm like, I felt that. That's really cool. Great. Thank you for sharing. George, would you like to read yours out?
Mine's a bit shorter. So
Oh,
mine, okay. You've been working on your product for many years, but you just can't get to the point where the product is coming to life. You don't know how to translate your ideas into a tangible product and share it with the world. You've spent so much money so far trying to develop this product, but you just can't see the finish line.
yeah, great. So this really captures the pain and the frustration and like their journey. My guidance for you, George, like this is great. So keep this as is, but I might just add a little bit of like a moment or a scene to it, you know, like maybe they've come out of a meeting with someone, maybe they just walked out of stepped out of a meeting with the developers, or you know, just something like that where it places them somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I would change. But other than that, I think this is great. It really captures it. Awesome. Sarah, would you like to read yours out?
You are watching another rocket launch live stream and wishing you could be part of that experience and either go into space or send your own idea into orbit. But you aren't a rocket scientist. You have no idea where to start. You don't even live near a launch site, and you feel like the future will pass you by and you'll never get to make a difference or be a part of the space sector.
Yeah, awesome. This is great. I wonder, Sarah, for you, and this is just kind of me, like, just like a brain dump, right? So if it doesn't fit, don't take it. But I feel like space dreams happen like from when we're kids. I wonder if there's something to incorporate in there that really captures that, like, because that's what people get, like kids get, we all get fascinated, right? We're like,
Right.
so I think there's something there to like inject that flavor into it. But yeah, this is really cool. Great work, guys. Is everybody happy for me to move on to the next step, or is anyone stuck somewhere? And stuck is not a bad thing. Stuck is good because we get to work through it. Or does anyone have any questions about this step? Or like mine doesn't fit somehow.
I can give it a go. I think mine's not anywhere near what everyone else has done, but if you want another example, if not,
Yeah, let's hear it.
So the scene is, so I'm, hold on one second. Struggle. Paint the picture. You're sitting at your kitchen table with your computer. You've been at it for days, trying to work out how to get your business out there to people. You have limited budget. You know, you can't afford a staff member. You've got a great product. You know, you need to connect with people, but you just don't know where to start.
Yeah, great. So I love that there's a scene because I think we can all relate to that laptop on the kitchen table thing. And I also think it's like, without saying it, you're saying this is a sole trader. This is someone who is working from their home. This is a one person business, right? So that's really cool. And you can, this is a really useful tool as well for painting who your target audience is and having them see themselves in your story, right? So I love that. I think, Raf, for you, what you might need to get clear on is when you say, you know, you've been working at it for days, getting your business out there, like that's not an action that someone's doing, right? What does it look like to get their business out there? So I would pick one thing that you think they're doing that's currently ineffective. You know, are they making sales calls? Are they sending DMs on LinkedIn? Are they sending cold emails? Like I would just pick one activity that you think your target audience is doing and not succeeding at.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
I just added a small sentence at the start of mine to maybe paint a better picture, where I just said, you've just walked out from a meeting with an investor. You just had another person who does not see what you see. Then the same thing that I said last time.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Like now I feel that. And that is a truth. That is actually a truth within your industry. That's great. Yeah. So can you see, like, just putting it in a moment, what an impact that makes? Yeah, really.
sorry to interrupt. Is it really important to also add like what your services that you're doing? Like,
Yes, that comes. So you're segueing me to the next step. So that's great. That's coming in the next part.
I'm open to reading mine. I don't think it's complete though, but
Okay.
I've just written it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. You're swamped with things to do, but you don't have enough business coming through the door. You're throwing money at photos and videos, but are frustrated that nothing seems to be working. And then I just haven't figured out the closing part at the end.
Yeah, great. I think I love the scene that you've painted. I just have a question that I wonder about for you, Ange. Like, are people really throwing money at photos and videos within your industry, or are they actually not doing that? Like, are they actually going, I've got to churn out content, but I don't know what kind of content, I feel like because it's only, yeah, I don't think they're currently throwing money there. I think they're like almost reflecting, like, yeah, I've been told video is a thing, but I don't know where to start. It's something like that. Or maybe they've like tried to record themselves 8 times and just deleted it, Like, I think it's that struggle more than that they're throwing money on videos and photos for
I was
you.
thinking for this more of the companies who have like just tried things and just, gone, oh, let me just pick this videographer to do this for me, who doesn't actually have a proper structure in place or who doesn't have a proper, formation to work with. And so they've just gone, oh, we've done this video, it hasn't really worked. I was
Right,
thinking
okay.
for those kind of clients rather than the ones who are going, I should be doing something, but I haven't.
That's clear. Okay, that's clear. So I would say it that way. I would say it like, you're reviewing the video, and video has just been emailed to you, or you're looking through the drive and you're looking through videos and, like you've just spent a significant amount of your budget, most of your budget on doing these videos. And then what is it? Are they disappointed in the quality? Are they like, I don't even know what to do with this? So I'd say it that specifically rather than just throw money.
Cool. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Really cool. Really great. All right, everyone ready to go to the next step? Let's do it. All right, so step 2 is called the shift. So this is the shift that's required for them to eliminate the problem that they have. And this should include a shift in their perspective, so a realization that something needs to change. And it should also include how your solution provides that shift versus traditional solutions. So here's an example. So example, you realize throwing money at ads isn't going to get you the result you're looking for. And that's where most paid ad strategies fail. They only focus on scaling spend. Our system pinpoints exactly how to craft ads that resonate, so you get higher conversions without wasting money. So again, the next part, I want you to write this out for yourself. So identify the perspective shift. What's that perspective shift that your audience needs to have? And then articulate how your approach is different from traditional solutions. And when we say traditional solutions, like if you're really a new offering that like no one has anything similar to you, then think about what's the alternative thing that they'd be doing, or is it that they're doing nothing, right? So find something to contrast yourself against. Is it the cost of inaction? Is it that they're using something that's such a legacy system? Is it that they're going with a competitor? Think about it from their lens. What are they currently doing? So some guidance again is, this is where you talk about your unique methodology or technology. So we don't want a list of features. We just want, what's that core thing that you do differently? What's the key thing that we're going to say that's like our main competitive advantage? And then contrast it with the traditional approach. So again, I can leave the example up for you. And if you're stuck or you're not sure, happy to take questions or work through it together.
Namata, just a quick question. If you're saying what is your unique IP versus traditional, can you spell out the traditional? So you've been to see a doctor or a psychologist, or is it worth spelling that out so directly, or do you kind of just find a way to imply that?
I think the more specific, the better. It's a really great question. I think we should always call it out.
I don't know if anyone else wants to work with you, Namata, but I would mind.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the shift is, so you've spent weeks on your team's training and they just don't seem motivated and the results just aren't happening.
Mm.
That's what so.
Yeah. Okay.
The reality is. So
what's the realization that they need to have? Like, what's the shift in perspective? Like, they're like, okay, I'm doing this training. You know, what are they missing?
you're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, they're not motivated. They're just not motivated, and then their results aren't happening.
Mm. So then, as someone training their team, like, what do they realize? Are they realizing like, I can't motivate them, or are they realizing like there's something deeper at play here? You know, like, what's that perspective shift that they have to go, oh, like what I'm doing is not working?
Oh, okay. So, and then you're about to go to your leadership meeting.
Mhm.
And you've got a report that yet another month has happened with no results.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Does that, I mean, I'm struggling a little bit. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no. I think you're in the right space. I think it's just about how we language it. So instead of saying it again as like a, you know, you're training them and it doesn't work, I would more change it to, you know, you realize that training your sales team isn't going to produce a result if they're ultimately not motivated.
So
Or,
I would say it that way.
yeah.
So more training isn't
Yeah,
giving.
something along those lines. Yeah, like more training isn't going to shift the dial because my team is not XYZ, you know, because they actually need XYZ.
Okay. But
You
I
know,
don't, do I say because they're not getting XYZ, or they're not?
it depends. You might not have to, because then you could then jump in and say, you know, this is what most sales training, or this is what most sales coach miss, right? So you could also come in at the brand and say that. But
Yeah.
I think you could say the shift, that perspective shift being, you know, you realize more training isn't going to make a difference, or it's not more training that they need. Like, I think that line is probably the key
Okay.
perspective shift.
We're right in the middle of it, right? So it's good to be uncomfortable, because I'm like, oh my gosh, just give me the answer. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, great. Awesome. That's good. It's really great to work through it. So thanks for the courage in sharing, you know, something that you're uncomfortable with.
Thanks.
Cool. Anyone else want to share, or anyone else not sure?
I've got something that I've written up.
Yep.
So you have come to a realization. You may never see your idea come to life by simply talking about it. Other people need to see something tangible. Our service focuses on getting a tangible proof of concept in your hand so you can share something real, not just another PowerPoint.
Yeah, great. So I can see that. I can see that that's the shift. Just a question for you, George. Is it something, because I know you've got competitors who are offering this, right? Is there something you can say that's like in one or two lines around, here's why this approach is different from a competitor? Or is it the people that you're targeting are the ones who are just currently getting PowerPoint done? What it depends on who you're mainly targeting.
I see. There's definitely a little bit of both, because some people are stuck in that world where they are just, you know, presenting PowerPoints, talking about their idea, and it's all very, I guess, subjective, and no one can really picture it. The part in terms of the specific to competitors part, I know that one of the things that people really appreciate is when you're there to kind of hold their hand through the journey, rather than just, here's our services, we'll do this for you, you know, at the end of it, you'll have a product. They want to actually be taken through the journey, because they hold this idea really, really close to them. So they want to be a part of it. They don't just want to, you know, write down some requirements on a paper and hand it over and say, can you please make it?
Yeah. Okay. So maybe play with that, because there could be something around, you know, other people need to see something tangible. You know that your team's not in a position to build it. But you know, and that there's services that offer to do that, but you really want to be involved, or you know, you want to make sure that you're seeing this through, something like that. So that could be something that you include as well. And then your services comes in, talk about tangible proof of concept, and then talk about, you know, your part of it, like we're an extension of your team or something like that. So I think there's something to play around with that. Yeah, great. I like where you're going. It's great. Sarah, you want to share yours? I can see it on the chat.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's enough said about your alternative to us in here. I said, you wish you had a space insider to help you figure out how to get involved. Our team can help you make a difference that meets your specific needs like no other advisor can. Whether you want to support a scientific mission, something to complement your financial portfolio, or a unique brand sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah, okay. So let's play this out. So they're kind of in the beginning, they're in like, I want to do something in space. So are they like, do they have an idea at all? Or are they just kind of like, I want to do something, I don't know what? Where
Yeah, the people that we're focused on are excited about space but are not involved yet. And so they either have a global brand, or they're very wealthy, or they're maybe a documentarian, or want some advice, like I mentioned on the financial portfolio. So there are some companies out there that just focus on brand sponsorships for space missions. There's other companies that focus on space investing, which is not what we do. But nobody's trying to raise funds for non-commercial space missions like we are. So we could either help you figure out how to invest, or not invest, but fund a mission or do a brand sponsorship. Or if you're like, I don't know what I want to do, I just want you to want some advice, you can hire us and we'll consult with you and look at your portfolio and give you some ideas for how you can get involved in the space sector. And nobody does all of those things like we do. So I'm trying to figure out a succinct way to cut that down to a couple of sentences.
I get it. Yeah. I'm trying to think about what's the shift in their perspective, right? I wonder, Sarah, if the shift is like, because this thing, if space is like this, like unattainable, kind of impossible. It's like it's just a dream, right? Maybe the shift is like they realize, like, oh, maybe it doesn't have to just be a dream. Maybe I could get someone to. Maybe there is someone out there who could help me. That might be the shift for you.
So you don't think you wish you had a space insider to help you figure out how to get involved? I should reword that to basically say there's got to be somebody that can help me get involved. Maybe I say that instead.
But I think it's something to say about, like, you know, like you realize this is not just some unattainable dream. Like it actually can be a possibility. Because I think people need to make that shift for themselves, because otherwise space just sounds like, oh man, I'll never get there.
Right.
And you can even be clever, like, you know, while space may seem like a far, you know, long and far away to go, we can actually help shorten that gap. Like you can be really clever with the wording you use. Yeah, great. All right, Jess, do you want to have a go?
Yeah. You realize a polished video isn't enough. If there's no real connection, it's just noise. Traditional agencies focus on production value, but people don't engage with perfection. They engage with people. Video isn't about looking good, it's about feeling real. Our approach puts human connection first, authentic stories, effortless execution, and strategic impact. Instead of just creating content, we craft moments that build trust, spark emotion, and remind people why your business matters. Because in a world overloaded with content, the businesses that win are the ones that people feel and believe in.
Yeah, amazing. I'm almost like, it's like Jess has come prepared with this already. Have I like planted her here? No, I haven't.
No, I've been doing like a lot of work in the background behind this, but when I've been building out my offers, it's been a lot of the technical. And so I think for me today, like what I really needed was a framework to try and put it all into place, like everything I've been working on and thinking. So it's been very valuable because I just needed, like I work best when there's an example. If there's no example, I like just am like, so I hope I'm kind of going in the right way.
You definitely are. You definitely are. And you know, people who are watching, like this is an opportunity for you to learn and steal frameworks or you know, languaging from each other, right? But that's really great. Thanks for sharing that, Jess.
Thank you.
George, you've got a revised version?
Yeah, I do. So I guess I'll just read it again. So you have come to realization that you may never see your idea come to life by simply talking about it. Other people need to see something tangible, and your existing attempts to get it over the line have not worked. Our services focus on working with you and guiding you through your product development journey so that you feel heard and you feel that your voice is being projected through the development. We will work with you on getting a tangible proof of concept in your hands so you can share something real, not just another PowerPoint.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think that's really great. And it really then captures what the desires are to be involved in the process. It's great.
I think product developers, like it's, going on the journey of becoming an entrepreneur and becoming a product developer is a huge leap of faith that you're taking to do that. It's not something that you just, I'm just going to develop something. So you want to feel like you're involved in that situation, because otherwise it's not really you anymore. It's just like, it's not something that I'm actually a part of.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you said about it's a huge leap of faith. You could even include that somewhere. You know, we get that it's such a huge leap of faith to go from an idea to developing something. Like that's why we work with you. You can actually say that as well. That's great. Cool. Ange, would you like to read yours out?
Sure. I wrote, connecting with your customers is essential, but conveying your authentic brand message can be a challenge. Our streamlined 3-step process helps you build deeper, more meaningful connections with your audience.
Yeah, I like that you've got like a process. So let me just look at this and think this through from what your service is. So connecting you with customers is essential. And do they kind of think like that, like connecting, is that a language they would use, or is it more like, I know that I have to put something out there? Like, what do you think is more their language?
I wrote the word connecting because it can be on an emotional level, or it can be on like a more personal level. Is that the language they would use? I guess that word can be simplified down.
Yeah. I would just think about that for a bit. And this is really good that this has come up. So for everybody, like, as I said before, we have the curse of knowledge. So we know a lot about our industry. We almost have to like suspend that and put it aside and go, what would the average customer actually say about this problem? Would they use these terminology? Because we want to connect always. So the simple, and in case of doubt, err on the side of like simple. So just something for you to reflect. It could be that word, but I just wanted to like point it out. And then the other one is conveying your authentic brand message. Like, is that what they're thinking? I should really convey my authentic brand message.
I think so, because we definitely are on the side of the storytelling side of things, and one of the three big pillars in that three-step process is conveying that authentic message, which is why I included that. Maybe the word brand might not be the right word. Your authentic message may be enough. But
Yeah.
my issue with this thing as well is that I don't really say what I do in this, and I don't know if I need to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good too, especially if you can do it in a way that contrasts it to you know, the alternative or the traditional way.
Mhm.
And you can definitely add to this, right? Our streamlined three-step process helps you build deeper, more, you know, through our through our video storytelling offer. We engage you in a way that unlike traditional. So there's definitely one or two more lines that you can add to this that crystallizes your offer and contrasts it to a traditional approach. So have a play with that. But I definitely think you're on the right track there.
Thank you.
Oh, great. All right. So any questions about this step? And if not, we will move on to the final step. All right. So should say step 3. So step 3 is about the hope. So the hope for the future. It's what's now possible as an outcome of your solution, and what does that unlock for them? So there's 2 parts here. This should include the direct benefit from using your product and service. And I'll show you in a moment what I mean by that. And then what that benefit unlocks in their life or in the future. So an example, following on from the previous example. So imagine if every dollar you spent on ads brought in engaged leads who were ready to buy. No more wasted budget. Your business finally runs your way, giving you the confidence to scale and the freedom to step away without stress. So there's 2 components of the benefit here. One is, you know, the direct benefit. So every dollar you spend brings in engaged leads who are ready to buy. No more wasted budget. That's the direct benefit. And then what does that unlock? What does that then make available or possible for your life, your business, your future is you finally have a business that runs your way. It gives you the confidence to scale, and you have the freedom to step away without stress. I mean, we could add on to this and you know, even go more around what does that mean for their lifestyle? Like there's more we can say, but this is just to give you a sense. So I'll talk a bit about features and benefits. So a feature is on the left, you'll see, you know, 32 megapixel camera. It's like the technical specifications, or like, here's the, you know, 3-step process. The benefit is then what then becomes possible from that feature. So it's direct, it's simple. You know, with 32 megapixel camera, you get crisp, clear, and professional photos. With wireless charging capabilities as a feature, the benefit of that is it's easy charging, no plugging, no cables. Feature of fingerprint sensor, you get to unlock your phone fast. So it's something that's really simple that like, it's like a direct, immediate benefit from this feature. So that's what we mean by direct benefit. So now we want you to try this exercise for yourself. So first, define the immediate tangible benefit that your service or your product delivers. And then describe the bigger impact. So what new possibilities or opportunities this unlocks for your target audience. Again, some guidance is that the direct benefit is what your target audience would say. It's not complicated. It's something that it will be simple for them to understand, like, oh yeah, I want to grow by X, or I want X leads per day, or I want to make X% more sales than last year. I want to meet my sales budget. Like, it will be things that they kind of already have in their mind. But the bigger impact is less obvious to them. This is what they really want, but often won't articulate. So this is almost like the wish, like, you know, the reason why someone's running their business, the reason why someone wants to have their brand be tied to a mission in space, right? The benefit is that they might get the mission happening or the launch, but what's that really like real desire that they have in their life? You know, what does that fulfill in them? So again, I will go back to the exercise and feel free to hit me with any questions.
I've already got something.
Okay.
I think it was now I originally asked you my first question about can you tell them like how you solve their problem? It kind of I already wrote that down, sort of just reused it.
Yeah.
So imagine that moment when you get to finally hold your product in your hands, the product that you have been imagining in your head, and you get to hold it and use it and share it with the world, so you can leave that lasting impact that you have dreamed about.
Yeah, great. That's great. And I love as well that you've already used that word imagine. So that's a little bit of a hint or a prompt to help you write is the imagine. Imagine if ... So that's a good way to start if you're not sure how to start. Yeah, great example, George. And then George, just playing around, right? I love kind of closing the loop because that's what stories do. We start with something and then we close a loop on it. Like, because the beginning, you kind of start with the investor and like that kind of like disappointing meeting with investor. I wonder if you could close the loop here and be like,
Yeah.
you know, you finally get to show it to investors who are like also excited by the brilliance and the possibility of this product, you know, like it
Yeah.
give them that
Absolutely.
satisfaction of closing that loop.
I'll give it a go.
Yeah, great. Anyone not sure and want to work through it together? Or share yours?
And can I just quickly ask a question? Do you link it back to the main problem in step 1?
Yeah, ideally you would. Ideally you would
Okay.
like bring it together as one story. Yes, good question.
I'm happy to be the guinea pig again.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm a little bit stuck again. So I'm going to copy yours and George's. Imagine the moment you stand there with your team. They are alive, you're alive, the team are motivated, they're taking risks. That's where I've got to.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Yeah.
like the environment is energized. And kind of they've got the authority to that's why I said to take risks, because they're leading things. They're not just waiting for the boss to tell them what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Would you then kind of also then as like a next sentence from that talk about the results, like the sales result that month is like for the first time you're actually not nervous to present the sales report or something like that.
I like that, because I want it to be because it's usually the leader that's got to be the one that has to account, right? So the first time could you say it again, Namata?
I said something like, for the first time, you're not nervous about presenting the sales report for the month.
Yeah, awesome. That's great.
And then you go on to talk about like, what does that then unlock? You know, is it that the confidence, that something to do with scaling or, you know, becoming the leader that they've always wanted to be, you know, something like that. Cool. Does anyone else want to? Thanks, Raf. That was really helpful.
Thank you.
Does anyone else want to share or work through it together or have a question?
So I'm just going to add one more thing. Retention rates are highest than they've been, because that's a big thing for companies. That's good. Thank you. That was really useful. Thanks.
Good. I could see it like there's like something clicked for you, so it's great.
I've refined it to include the investor thing. I'm still not 100% sure if it completely works, but I guess I'll just show you what I've got now. So imagine that moment when you get to finally hold your product in your hands, the product that you have been picturing in your head, and you get to hold it and use it and share it with the world. Remembering all the no's that you have experienced, you now see yourself behind those investors again. And this time you walk in with confidence because you know your idea is real and can leave the lasting impact that you have dreamed about.
Yeah, wow. That hit, George. I got goosebumps. That's great. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. I love that it's like that confidence it brings, you know, because that's really what it is. People want to walk into those meetings and have that confidence to present who they are, like to present what they're doing. It's great. Cool. Jess, let's hear yours.
Okay. Imagine if your video didn't just exist, it worked for you. Instead of another piece of content lost in the noise, you have a powerful tool. Sorry, I've lost it in the chat. You have a powerful tool that builds trust, drives engagement, attracts top talent, and makes your message stick. But it's bigger than that. No more struggling to stand out while competitors dominate. No more wasted time on content that falls flat. No more worrying that your brand doesn't reflect the credibility and impact you know it deserves. With content that truly connects, you're no longer chasing attention. It comes to you. Opportunities find you because people don't just see what you do, they believe in it. When your story is told the right way, it doesn't just get watched, it opens doors.
Wow, incredible. Right.
Thanks. I hope. Yeah, it's been very helpful because we're actually doing a brand shoot in the next coming of weeks, and I'm loving this framework that I'm thinking I might just use this as my brand story.
That's awesome. Great. Yeah, really
Can
good.
I ask what you guys do, Jess, at your company?
Yeah. So what we do is we work with corporates and professional services, and we are a big like video production company. And so, yeah, we're trying to really pinpoint and focus on how can we help them, stand out, attract top talent, help them with their events, become visible, be an authority in their field. That's what we do.
I feel like I need to hire you.
No. Yeah, so I'm slowly working my way through stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Cool. Sarah, I can see you put yours up. Would you like to read it out?
Sure. Imagine having a space expert to help guide you on how to make the biggest impact with your money. You donate or sponsor a legacy-making mission that helps people on Earth. Your space dream becomes a reality knowing that you help create the future.
Yeah, some powerful words there. I love that. Your space dream becomes a reality, knowing that you help create the future. Boom. It's great. Mic drop. Nice. Great. Love that.
I've been rewriting step 1 and step 2 also based on your input. So thank you for that.
Yeah, look, the thing I want to say about that, it's great that you said that, Sarah. Like, this version is a draft. Every time I work with my clients on their brand story, like we just get something out there and then we might have to step away for a day, we come back. So don't worry too much that like, I have to get this version right. Like your brain, trust yourself that it will come to you, but it does, require you maybe taking a step back and coming back to it again, or picking someone's brain and working together with them. So that's great. It's part of the process. Would anybody else like to share theirs, or is anyone like still unsure about this step or any of the steps at all?
still trying to figure it out. I'm just like, I keep changing what I'm writing, and I think because I'm understanding it more and more.
Yeah.
But from all the stuff I've deleted and put together, this is all I have so far. I've written, imagine if your viewers see your video and get exactly what you do. They're so excited about the prospect of working with you that they book then and there. And then the rest I've kind of deleted and changed a lot.
Yeah, well, that's great because that's a direct benefit, right? That's a direct benefit. Like that's what people want. Like, man, if I had a video and people booked it right away from my video, like that's the dream, right? So I think you've nailed the direct benefit. And I think now the next part for you is like, then what does that make possible? You know, if you have a business that runs like that, what does that unlock for you as a business owner? Yeah, like what does your future then look like? So that's now the next part for you to craft, but I think you've nailed the direct benefit.
Thanks.
Great. Anybody else want to share where they're up to or have a question? Cool, awesome. We've done that. So bringing it all together, it's really simple. You've got the moment, you've got the shift, and you've got the hope. And if you imagine, you know, a product page, this can all fit within your product page or service page, or your pitch deck. You could, you know, you could shorten it, but you don't have to. Like some of the best service or product pages I've seen, they actually like go through a whole journey. Like it's really long, and it takes people through this journey, and it paints, you know, a really clear picture. You can, you know, if you're thinking together, if you're thinking from like, how does it kind of fit into, if you want to redo your website or your service page or your pitch deck, then this is like sets the scene. And this is like the core piece that you'll have, like core copy. Underneath this can be if you have a list of features, then by all means list the features. No problem in that. That just shouldn't be the leading thing. So you can list those features under this, like bullet points. People like to know, like, how does it work? So I'd always recommend having a how it works section where you list like 3 steps, like how to get started. You know, A, book a call. You know, B, do this. C, you know, we'll get in touch and we'll start this process together. So that's always useful in a service or product page. And then testimonials. So those I would say are the core elements of your product or service page. Are there any website examples that use this process you could share for reference? Good question, Jess, that you asked. I looked through a lot of examples in putting this workshop together. I don't think there's any one that like was really hitting all the boxes, but actually one that came really close to hitting all the right all the things that we talk about. I'm just gonna put the link in the chat for you, and Robin and Jess would be familiar with this. It's actually part of the mastermind group that we're in. So Janine does a really brilliant job in her Elevate page. Let's see if I can share it on screen. Hang on. So again, hers is a service. So it, you know, doesn't have a list of features, but it's got more like inclusions because hers is a program. So here it is. So, you know, you've got the headline. You can talk, that could be like around what's possible, right? Live the life you love, start creating your legacy. Does this sound familiar? You were kind of a big deal in corporate world. There was a fancy title on the business card. Something happened, blah, blah, blah. Maybe this, you finally recognize your worth more. So that shift, right? Regardless of what happened, you recognize that you're worth more, you're hardworking, you're smart, da, da, da. So it takes them through a journey. You could go out on your own and work when you want. You fantasize about no longer being accountable to anyone. So you do it, you set up your own business. It was amazing for a while. Somewhere along the line, started to feel harder. And then she goes into detail of like the frustration, the problem. So you can see she takes a long time to set it all up. Like this is a lot of text. And then again, it comes to, you know, imagine if you could, and then all the things. Sounds like a dream, but is it possible? You know, here's what you'll get to learn. You'll become the authority. So her key features and benefits. They elevate difference, you know, unlike cookie cutter programs that give you generic business tips for when you're just starting. So you can see, right, this is pretty much talking in the same language as the steps that we just took you through. You know, some of those benefits when you join. Again, more benefits, testimonials. Here's what you get. Yeah, so this is a big page, but knowing Janine and knowing what she's done with her business, like she is someone you could follow as an example because she's really successful in what she's doing. So I'd take something from this and use it as a framework. And you don't have to make it this long, but it definitely is a good structure. So yeah, great question, Jess.
That's a good sort of point that I'll to raise here. Length has always been sort of like a thing that I've been unsure about because sometimes, you know, you try to explain everything you want to explain and you end up sort of just, you say too much. And from what I gauge from the way most people interact with the internet, attention span is like stupidly low. You know, you're trying to get them to read a whole blog to sort of get to the point. I'm not saying this is, I mean, obviously it's working for her because she has a very specific targeted thing. I feel like if I tried to do that with our business, people just wouldn't read it. I mean, probably worsens the fact that, you know, when talking product development, you're talking about people like engineers, and, you know, with even sort of, I guess, lower attention span when it comes to long balls of text.
I think that's a really great point, George. And I think a distinction I'd like to make to kind of give maybe some open up a perspective is that this is her she's not talking about herself at all. She's talking about the audience, right? So it's a story about me. I want to read a story about me. I'm into me.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about you, then I'm gonna tune out. I'm gonna skim and go, nah. Right? So that's where storytelling comes in. And especially if you're telling a story about your audience's journey, like I'm into this, like this woman knows me. You know, I remember reading this and going, is she in my head? How does she know everything? Oh, you know,
Right.
so that's
You got to
the
capture
magic.
them first.
Yeah.
I guess you got to capture them first, and then you can kind of naturally you'll just keep reading if it's captivating.
Right. Because it's like, you know, and it's a storyline. It's like you're in corporate. I want to know what happens. Oh yeah, you do it. You set up your own business. I'm nodding along, right? First little while it's amazing. I'm like, yeah, it was signing clients. You're getting, yeah. I'm like, that's what happened. Somewhere along the way, you get stuck. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I'm like, I'm reading this because it's about me. So that's the thing.
Right.
That's the magic of storytelling. But great point, great question. And yeah, you're right. It doesn't work if it's a technical blog or something that, you know, isn't just going to capture their attention.
Yeah.
I think it also works because you're going to read to the level that you're interested in reading. Like if you want to just skim it, you kind of get the heading points, the dot points, and the whatever else, but you know that there's more in there, right? But like if you're enrolled, you're going to read every single word and you're like, heck yeah, that's exactly me, you know, resonate. And it's kind of like a choose your own length.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's another good point as well, because people skim, right? So that means that wherever I scroll to on Janine's page, that page I just showed, I'm seeing the key points that she wants to land. She may be repeating it in different ways, but because I'm skimming, I'm not going to miss it because it's there. And it's just reinforcing, you know, already my like my perspective, that my initial reaction, that like, oh, this person gets me. So that's the reaction you want to have for when people are looking at your content, like, oh, they get me. Yeah, great point. Great discussion. Cool. So that's how you put it together. Any questions about the process? or what we've done, or how do you put this together, or how do you use it? Just any questions related to this while you've got me here. Yes, Jess.
So my question is I'm working on my offerings at the moment, and so I've got like 4 different little packages. When I'm sort of putting it together and like presenting it to the world, what do I use, like a little mini little step process of what I've done, and then do like a little ticker box of like the benefits instead of like the features? Because what I'm struggling with, being really technical, it's like, you know, it's like a 2-day shoot, multi-cam, multi-location, and I know people don't care about it, but then some people do care about it. So I'm really struggling with the wording of kind of how to just like set it out, I think.
Yeah, I feel you. Let me just go back to that one slide of an example. I think it was this one, right?
Yeah.
So you can still say the features, but you just gotta then be responsible for, not everybody gets it, right? So they say the free sip bottles, triple layer, vacuum insulated stainless steel. That's just a fancy way of saying blah, 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 blah. So you might be clever with it like that. You could also say, you know, here's what's included, and then have a section that says what this means for you is XYZ. I think Janine also did something like that, where she's got like the benefit and then the feature, and then it links to the benefit. Looks like arrows. Yeah, see, so she didn't do it that way. She did it from you know, you can expect to go from X to Y, but there's no reason why you couldn't do it in this format where, you know, 2-day shoot, meaning that all your content that you need for the year is done without rushing you, right? So you could do it that way as well. Yeah, so the feature is important because it backs up your claim. Like without the feature, kind of what you're saying falls flat, because people go, why should I believe you? Like, what are you doing to make this thing? Why is this what you're saying? Why is that claim true? So we do need the feature. We just don't lead with the feature. That makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. And George?
So I can really see and picture how that statement and the journey can be something that you put on straight on your website, probably even the first thing that you see when you enter the website. I guess part of the problem is you're not always showing people your website directly. You know, in some cases you have a LinkedIn post, or you know, you've got a short time to talk to them or something. So I guess my question is, is the approach that you should try to have some form of like a really condensed version of that can sort of just push them towards your website? Or I mean, I don't know, is that something that you can?
It's a really good question. And this is, you know, part of what we call content strategy, is that we will then sprinkle these things, elements of this, into your content each time.
Right.
So you may not include everything, but you can say some few lines like, you know, you're feeling frustrated, another campaign wasted, another night wondering if, you know, paid ads will ever work for you. You know, here's some things people miss when they consider a paid ad strategy: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a LinkedIn post, right?
Yeah.
If you want to find out more, contact me here, blah, 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 lead magnet. So yeah, the reason we develop lots of stories is that then when we're sharing content, we're sprinkling them in the content, and it makes it resonate with people.
Sounds like you also have to have like a common story that you can kind of be able to refer to very easily over and over again.
Yeah,
rather than something that's sort of just, you know, I guess that's why it has to have a lot of feeling, come from a lot of personal experience.
Yeah, 100%, I would say. Yep. So it's a really great like place to be reflecting. And if you don't mind, I think it segues back into then what I want to kind of bring your attention back to, which is the biggest marketing myth. have a great product or service. I just need to get the word out to more people. This kind of thinking leads to people hustling harder without the result. Like, I just gotta get it out there. Let me do my cold DMs and emails and outreach and post, or do something, get the blog out, get something out. Burn money on ads that don't convert, and fixing what's not broken. So a lot of people in the product space that I come across, they go back to like, oh, maybe our product's not the right. We got to refine it, or refine. Let me refine my offer. Let me keep reworking my website. Like they go and fix things that's not broken, when in fact the biggest, what we call leaky bucket is the messaging. That's the foundation. That's what has people nodding or like closing and going off somewhere else. So I'd love to talk to you, if you don't mind, just a little bit about how I help founders. And this is where my program, which is called the Influential Founder Program, comes in. What we cover in the program is we craft your story. And, as George was saying, there's actually a number of stories. So there's your brand story, there's your product story or service story, there's your founder story. We craft all of these stories so that you have a bank of stories that resonate with investors, customers, partners. We bring it to life on your website. So we help turn your website into a clear, engaging website that converts and that visitors or, turn into leads and customers. I also help clients translate that copy into pitch decks, for example, beyond the website. And then we build your credibility and influence online. So we work with you to develop a growth/content strategy that positions you as the influential, the thought leader, and builds your reputation within your industry. So in this program, the promise is that you'll leave with all aspects of your brand story that you can use in your content and marketing materials. And these are what we call evergreen. Like these stories will always be relevant, and you can always find ways to use them within your content. You'll get a website copy that converts, and you'll get a content strategy that helps you build influence and credibility. And from my research, this is the only course that gets you doing the work. So it's not theory, it's not concepts. You've got a glimpse of it today where we're working through something, we leave with something tangible. That's what this program really focuses on. And how it works is that it's 8 sessions, real results. We're doing the real work. In session 1, we have a 90-minute onboarding session to map your story and your goals. Between sessions 2 and 7, it's a 1-hour coaching call, usually weekly, to craft and refine different aspects of your story. And then session 8, we bring it all together into a plan that you can execute, and a document that has all your stories in one place. So the program is for you if you're a founder with a great product or service, but you struggle to explain why it matters. You're tired of your website collecting dust instead of leads, and you're ready to build influence and credibility. So that's what the program is for. So the next thing I wanted to then come back to is a special gift for all of you who stay till the end. You get a free website audit to make sure that your story is clear, compelling, and converting. All you have to do is book in a virtual coffee chat with me, or tea, your beverage of choice. Just simply scan this barcode and it will take you to an appointment page to book an appointment with me. Please drop in your website link in that comment box so that our team can look into your website and come back to you with our recommendations and our audit findings. If you don't yet have a website, then we can use this session to talk about if you're crafting your offer. If you want to continue the discussion we've had from today, we can do that. Or if you've got a pitch deck, so just, it is a website audit, but happy to adapt it to what works for you if you don't yet have a working website. So I would love to see you. I'd love to chat with you. Feel free to book in a coffee with me. And I'll leave this on, but I just want to hear as well from anyone who wants to share what you know, what's something new that you learn, any aha moments, anything that's now going to change the way that you think about your service story. So I'd love to just hear, you know, any insights on what you got out of today.
Can I ask a quick question? Can you go back to the founders program that shows the 3 bullets? Because I missed the 3rd one.
Is it this one?
There, yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, we'll go back to this page and you can scan the code if you want to have a chat with me. And yeah, I just want to hear from anyone who's willing to share, like, what are you taking away from this process? Any insights, any aha moments, anything that you're going to do differently?
I think for me,
Sorry.
oh, sorry, did I speak over you?
No, after you.
I was just going to say, I think that focusing on the fact that when you're putting content out there, you want the reader to be experiencing and visualizing something that's happened to them. I don't think I've ever really tried to do that. And I can see how powerful it is, because every one of the examples that we went through, and every time someone shared, you can kind of relate to that scenario, and it keeps you captivated. So really, I can really see the difference there than just saying, we provide this service.
Yes, George. That's just like music to my ears. Great, thank you. Ange?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I liked what you said about, like, storytelling is about telling your audience's journey. I think that was really powerful, and even that website, Janine's website, where it was just way too word heavy, but it was more about people reading, more about the people who are reading it rather than about her. So yeah, those 2 were really, really good points, and obviously all the 3 steps that I really need to work on to understand how to word that together. But I'll work with you on that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do some work together. Great. Yeah, it's great as well, Ange, what you said just reminds me of something. So one of the symptoms that points to a bit of a deeper thing to look at, right? If you're at any stage, if you're stuck on the story or you're like, you can't envision it, then I'd go back to your target audience. I'd go back to that and go, am I really clear about my target audience? Am I trying to speak to everybody? Have I made a clear choice? Like, can I picture them? Can I actually like map it out and say, you know, make up a name for them and think about what are they going through in their day? Like, I would go back to that work. That's the foundational piece. Great. Yeah.
As someone who is definitely not a marketer, I really appreciate this session because it's helped me feel like I kind of know what I'm talking about when I'm trying to market my company.
Great. That's what we want. That's what we want for you, because all of you are doing amazing things. You know, my job isn't to go and do anything about space. I'm just never going to do that. But I'd love to amplify someone who's doing that. So I'm glad that you're here and that you got value from it, Sarah.
The session was really great. I'm in the position of I can't remember the word that you used about information overload. I've literally had so many people inputting to me over however many months, and what today's about, it's kind of been a bit challenging because it's all about the messaging, but I still need to ideate what am I actually offering, which is obviously the step before it. So it's a lot of thinking that I'm having to do. And then this is great because as I've been here today, it's also forcing me to think about, you know, who is the audience and what am I offering even more. So it's been really good, really good.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Yes, Jess.
I was just going to say today was really great for me because I've been at a stuck point that, like what you said, I've done a lot of work on avatar and pain points and you know, fear, dreams, desires. And today it was really good for me to sort of put it in action because I feel like I've been held back a little bit while I've been trying to really, get it all together. And then today it just seemed to kind of flow, like the message, the storytelling. So it was kind of like an aha moment for me that everything I've been working on, even though it can be boring sometimes, it's really meaningful, because like what you said, talking to your audience is way more powerful than talking about me. Like, I can tell you, you need this video and you need this, but it doesn't resonate. Like, they'll just instantly switched off. So I love that flip that
Yeah.
you've done. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jess. Thanks for that. It's great.
One of the things I got, Namada, is that like, I think we put a lot of effort into like, oh, if I say this thing, maybe they'll see themselves in it. And this is like, no, do that work for them. Like, do the mental lifting, do that kind of thing, like paint it for them, like really reduce the barriers to people seeing themselves in what you're offering by illustrating it for them. And I think that that's much better than doing something in the hopes that it will resonate with people, right? So I really love the directness and like tackling the real problem rather than, as you say, just continuously talking about your thing. Yeah, so that was the takeaway that I got. Like, the more direct, the better. The more you can paint it for them. Yeah. So that's what I got.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
That's a really great point. I think I had in my notes somewhere to say this, and you said it, so that's great. Yeah, look, our brains are lazy. Our brains just want to make shortcuts and quick connections. So don't make people do like mental gymnastics to link themselves to what you're offering. Like, as Zara said, do that work for them. And this is one of the most effective ways, is to paint that picture, a really vivid, clear picture for them. So that's great. Great point. Cool. So thanks, everybody. That is time. I'm not going to kick you off the call. Feel free to stay on and network and share your details in the chat if you want to connect with each other. But I just really appreciate you being here and working on like doing the work and just really trusting me to guide you through the process.